All right, folks, it is 10:02, so we will go ahead and get started. If you have just joined us, this is the TCP Housing-Based Case Management. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jessica Klingerman. I am one of the training coordinators here at TCP. My counterpart, Cassie Dykstra, is also here with us. She will be leading in technical assistance today, so I'm sure everything will go swimmingly, knock on wood, but she will be here supporting us. So as you've noticed, the training is being recorded, so hopefully you've clicked that accept button, and we will dive right in. So if you have not been to this type of training before, this is a town hall styled training. So it's a collaborative learning environment for discussion and information sharing for those in client services. So sharing best practices, things that you found helpful, and things that you just want to share with others who are doing the same work as you. So we will have some short presentations about resources in the area. And then at the end, we will be inviting folks to share any tips, tricks, thoughts, questions that they have about case management. And it's open to all homeless service providers in DC, particularly case managers, client-facing specialists, so employment, housing, and then program directors and managers. And I just realized I did not check. Can I get a thumbs up, or if folks want to come off mute and tell me that they can see my screen and can hear me?
We can see and hear.
Beautiful. Thanks, Cassidy. Thank you, Pamela. All right. So today we are going to go over some housekeeping, suicide prevention. We will have like a content warning before we get into that. We'll have a presentation from Operation Hope, from Salvation Army on rental and utility assistance, from United Planning Organization, UPO, on their Workforce Institute, some more financial literacy resources, and then open the floor to resource sharing at the end. As you may or may not have seen, this housing-based case management quarterly meeting is going to have more of a focus on financial literacy. Housekeeping. Again, this meeting is recorded and it will be posted on our website if you want to view it later. Each presenter will have a Q&A at the end of their presentation. We do have the Q&A feature enabled, so if you want to drop your questions in there, and then we can get those to the presenters, that will ensure that your question is not lost in the chat. You can also put in the chat, but Q&A is a good place to put it. We will provide housing-based case management and financial literacy certificates at the end of the training. There will not be a roll call. Attendance is based on Zoom registration and admitted, so make sure your name is shown correctly. If there are any topics that you would like to see covered in the future, please put those in the chat, or you can add it to our feedback form, which has the link there, and then it will also be shown as a QR code at the end. Any questions before we get started? And you can come off mute or put them in the chat, or put them in the Q&A. Okay, seeing none, we'll keep moving. So we are going to talk about suicide prevention for about 2 minutes. So if this is if you need some time and need to step away, if you want to come back at 10:08, we should be wrapped up by then. So you can just go take care of yourself, do whatever you need to do. As we are towards the end of March, we did just want to give a little reminder, PSA to folks about just suicide risks. In the United States, we frequently hear that, talking about suicide prevention more in around the holidays, so November and December. Statistically, that's actually not accurate. We see that there are more deaths by suicide typically in late spring and early summer. this is the time that you just want to be mindful and be kind of cognizant of that as you're interacting with your clients, just kind of being more aware of that. So we know that homeless individuals are 9 to 10 more times more likely to die by suicide than the rest of the US population. With that, want to just remind you of a few resources that we have. So we do have the TCP suicide risk assessment and prevention training that is offered every month. The number for the National Suicide Hotline is 988. There's also, you can text that, or you can go to the website and do an online chat there. And then in the Dropbox, which is the very first link, or the very first thing that was put in the chat today, that Dropbox link, in that there are some DC area resources. So not just for your clients, but also for you. It covers the surrounding counties and their resources. And then also there are some like warning signs for suicide. So I don't want to get too much into that, but if are there any comments, questions about that?
Okay. Very interesting fact about the timing of the number of suicides.
Yeah, it's they've, as I was like doing some more research about this, there's interesting speculation about why that is. And there's scientists are still trying to get some more information about that. But yeah. But we are at 10:08, so I'm going to move on in case folks are coming back to us. And TCP will give you some more information about financial resources at the end, TCP being, that'll be me. But for the time being, I am going to stop sharing my screen.
And I also agreed that it's really, it's unusual. I've always heard that suicide risk were higher, around like the just Thanksgiving and Christmas and those holidays in that season, as opposed to what you said, spring and summer. So was there something that occurred where the statistics changed? Was just
Yeah, so from what I looked into and read, that that's been kind of a long-standing trend that it's in the spring and summer, and then there's just this misconception that it's typically the winter months. I will drop the link that I found that. I think of the misconstrual of that. I'll drop that in the chat. And I apologize. I probably should have allotted a little bit more time for that. But just being cognizant of anybody that might need to, that doesn't want to be present for that conversation. I do want to keep moving. But if you want to chat me directly about that, please feel free to do that.
That'll be helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I'll drop that in the chat, and I will turn it over to our first presentation from Operation Hope. So we have Channing Jones, and I think I saw Amy. She's not on my screen right now.
Yes, Amy's here with us.
There we go. So
good morning.
Good morning. Thank you both for being with us. I will turn it over to you and let me know what you'd like me to share for you, and I will be your Vanna White.
Oh, I appreciate you, Vanna White. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Jess, for the opportunity to be here. This is absolutely fantastic. It's what we do all day long and twice on Sunday. So really appreciate you having us. Okay. So the first document I'd like to review, Jess, is the How We Help document. So if you could pull that up for me, that would be fantastic. As I mentioned, my name is Channing Jones, Channing like Channing Tatum. I have been with Operation Hope for almost a year now. I'm relatively new, but I will tell you, I've been in the financial services industry for over 20 years. And I have worked for 2 major financial institutions that you would know. And the vast majority of my experience comes in the way of lending. So I was a regional manager. I managed teams as small as 2, as large as 400. I managed the sales and client retention and client acquisition piece of things. Uh, but I will tell you, when I went through my corporate job, I said to myself, I am really upset. There's a whole group of people that are not being able to get loans and things of that nature, just based on, just lack of that understanding. So one of the things I want to share with you today is who we are at Operation Hope and how we can help your clients. So, first and foremost, Operation Hope is a nonprofit for purpose organization. We are 33 years old. We have been in the financial literacy business for 33 years. And as a result of that, we have helped millions of people improve their financial literacy, and we've empowered them to be successful in their financial life. Our mission is to expand economic opportunity and to ensure that everyone has access to free enterprise, not just a few, everyone has access to free enterprise. And so really we consider ourselves disruptors of poverty. And the way we do that is through financial literacy. And what we do is we offer a series of workshops, one of which I'm going to walk you through today, time permitting, okay? And the other thing we do, which I think is the most impactful piece of the work, is where I would coach you one-on-one, you or your clients one-on-one, to help you achieve your financial goals. So that is the most impactful work I do. But as we're going forward, a little bit more information about Operation Hope. As you can see, we have delivered $5 million in economic services in the community. We have over $1.7 million, I'm sorry, 1.7 million active clients. We have actually helped 11,568 people become homeowners. Some of our clients, actually all of most of our clients, increase their credit score. 64% of the clients that we work with increase their credit score. 70% of the clients that we work with increase their savings by a median of $1,200. And most of our clients also reduce their debt by a median of $1,800. So those are not numbers to shake a finger at. I will tell you that we are in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico and our other U.S. territories. And we are also inside financial institutions. So you will find us inside major banks like Bank of America. I am actually inside of Wells Fargo. You'll find us inside Truist Bank, offering these financial literacy services. And best of all, there is absolutely no cost to you or to your clients if you decide to join our movement. And so I want to encourage you to encourage your clients and to encourage yourself to take advantage of all the wonderful, beautiful things we have here at Operation Hope. I want you to think about us as an umbrella, Operation Hope as an umbrella. And then under that umbrella, we have certain services. I am part of the credit and money management pillar of Operation Hope. But we also have a home ownership pillar. We have a small business pillar. We have a financial disaster pillar where we help folks recover from financial disasters. We also have a young and youth adult pillar. And then certainly last but not least, we have employee benefits. And so we are part of some major organizations' employee benefits packages. So, wow, what more can I say about Operation Hope and the good work that we do? We really do believe in uplifting the community. And of course, we start with our youth. Then we move to our adults through home ownership, small business credit and money management, and heaven forbid, a financial disaster. Then we move to our small business owners. And then ultimately, we're uplifting the entire community through financial services and financial literacy. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Now that you know about Operation Hope, I just want to reiterate kind of some of Jess's housekeeping items. She mentioned if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or the Q&A. I will be facilitating this as if you were a client, or as if you were a participant in the workshop. Also, if there will be time during the session for breaks, I've built in 2 breaks, and certainly there will be a time for Q&A at the very end. If you happen to see me look over here, I'm looking at my notes. So I'm not looking at anybody else in the room. I am looking at my notes to keep me on track. Okay. So, and just what I'd like to do now is share my screen. We are now done with that slide. Thank you so much. All righty. Give me a thumbs up or holler at me if you can see my screen.
You can see it.
Awesome. Okay. So today you are going to be a participant of my workshop. This is the Setting Financial Goals workshop. And I've already gone over a number of things, but we do this workshop to empower our clients along their financial well-being journey. So at this point, give me just a moment. I'm admitting someone into the class. Okay, give me just a moment here. Okay, there we are. Are you guys with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Okay, so at this point, I would go over with your client the learning objectives for the Setting Financial Goals workshop, the importance of financial literacy. We would talk about goal setting in this workshop. Also, give your clients tools and strategies for effective financial goal setting. We also will look at ways to set goals, and actually, these are SMART goals that we help our clients develop, and those SMART goals being specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. And then, of course, the last thing is, approaching or applying these financial concepts for themselves or for yourself in this category. Okay. Bear with me, please. Jess, how are we doing on time, my dear?
You are doing good. We started you a little bit early, so you're technically only 5 minutes into your presentation time.
Oh my goodness, don't tell me that. I will talk a lot more than need be. Okay, so you've already heard about me and what I do, right? You know about my 20 years of experience in the banking industry, and ultimately why I came to Operation Hope was I was seeing a whole group, a whole section of people not getting the financial services that they needed just for the sheer fact of lack of understanding. And so I quit my corporate job and I decided to join Operation Hope. Best decision I've ever made, because I am now working and living in my purpose. So that is a wonderful thing to be able to do. Now, before you joined today, it was emailed out to you, the client journal for today's workshop. If you have that, now would be a good time to pull that out. But if you don't have it, that's quite all right. We're going to use pen and paper, and we're going to do the old-fashioned thing. I hope someone in this workshop is just as old-fashioned as me and likes pen and paper. So now, this is the agenda for the workshop today. We want to establish a community understanding, or we want to talk about what our learning environment looks like. We're going to do some reflection, some activities. We're going to talk about the importance of financial literacy. We're going to look at some factors that help predict a strong financial future. And then, of course, we would create those SMART goals. Moving this over here. Okay, wonderful. So let's agree on our working community. I would love, love, love for this to be communicative versus just to sit back and have a conversation. But I need your help to do that. So if you are here, please help me by being engaged with me, being an active listener. If you, I love people who communicate. So if you choose to communicate, I promise not to interrupt you, judge you, or assume anything about you. And I hope you as a participant will do the same for anyone else who is participating. This is a confidential space. This is Vegas, baby. Everything we say in this space will be confidential. And I will be sharing a lot of things about myself. So please feel comfortable to share some things about yourself as well. Please try to stay engaged. And if you're going to give constructive feedback, that's okay. Just do it from a growth mindset. So make sure that if you're giving that feedback, you are really invested in making sure that individual is taking something positive away. And if you are receiving that feedback, please receive it in the manner in which it is intended, just for your overall growth. There are a lot of people in this class today. I respect and value each and every one of you. You all have diverse backgrounds, ages, experiences, races, genders. I respect every single one of you, and I would love for you to bring your full self to this class today. Okay? Feel comfortable. Feel free to share. And last but not least, stay present with me if you can. I know everybody has a cell phone, but try if you can to stay active and engaged with me. Okay, now we get started with our presentation. So the first question is a reflective activity. It's, what would you do if someone gave you money? Would you save it, spend it, or give it away? By the way, I am holding a lottery ticket in my hand. Someone in this workshop is going to walk away with this lottery ticket. Hopefully it's a winner. But let's assume this lottery ticket is a winner. What would you do with the money you won? Would you save it? Would you spend it? Or would you give it away? Let me let you reflect on that just a moment. Would you save it? Would you spend it? Or would you give it away?
All
And
three.
oh, Miss Carlita.
Good morning.
Miss Carlita, good morning.
Good
You would do
morning.
all three. Tell me a little bit about that. How much would you save? How much would you spend? How much would you give away? What would you do?
I think it all depends on what the number is.
Okay.
Because at this day and age, things are very, very expensive. So of
Absolutely.
course you want to get yourself in a position where you're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore.
Yes.
If the lottery ticket warrants that, because some lottery tickets you just win $500. So it all depends on what the earnings or what the winnings would be. Now, if it was something small like 500, for me, of course, I would do something like pay my tithes, to me, which is a form of giving away or donating. I also probably would pay a bill, of course, being, try to, be economically smart. And I also wouldn't want to I guess pamper myself a little bit as well. So that's why I would say all three, because I would also want to save something for a rainy day. So depending on how much I save and how much I spend would determine, based on how much I get. But I would try to do all.
Love that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Miss Carlita. Say more.
No, thank you. I just wanted to just reiterate that I would really try to do all three, no matter what the dollar amount would be. I would
Yes.
really try to do all three.
That's wonderful. What a holistic person you are. You have a lot of great discipline. I tell you, the first thing I said was I would spend it, right? Who, is there anyone else who would like to share? If you won this lottery ticket, by the way, someone's going to walk away with this ticket. I'm going to get your information. I'm going to send it.
Hi, good
Hi,
morning.
Miss Pamela.
How are you? How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Doing well, thank you.
Well, it's very interesting that you should have this question, and you know, there's a lot that's going on with this question, because there are three different things. You can spend it, save it, or give it away. I think what I would do is reinvest it. I think I would reinvest it, and just kind of maybe in real estate or something like that, you know, so I can watch my money grow. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, because I'm more of a business person. I mean, yes, I'm spending it and spending it, but I want to see some kind of return as well. So what would be important uh, for me is to go ahead and to reinvest it in maybe perhaps real estate. And also, if there's a loved one perhaps that is in need, I would more than likely probably give them something as well. And also perhaps give something to my favorite organization.
Very nice. Thank you, Miss Pamela, for sharing that. It is interesting that investing it is not part of this of these questions, right? So thank you for being an outside of the box thinker, Miss Pamela.
I
I
want to
think we
share.
have time for one more.
I want to share.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi,
Who is that?
this is
Hi,
Michelle Smith. How are you, Miss Channing?
Miss Michelle Smith. I am doing well this morning, Miss Michelle Smith. Please tell us, what would you do? Spend it, save it, or give it away?
So I would definitely give it away to my daughters in a sense of putting it each in a bank account set up for them, definitely for their savings. Although my daughters are all adult women, we're talking about that generational wealth, which a lot of people are not focused on. And I think if we have adult children or children and we came into some millions, definitely you would pay them first and pay it forward to the understanding that they understand why the money's in there, allow it, give it time to grow. Definitely it would be a no-brainer to pay your bills and pay off a couple car notes and stuff like that. But definitely I will put the rest of the monies away into my bank account and still live a modest lifestyle, opposed to spending it all and thinking that's the right direction to go. So that's what I would do.
Generational wealth, living below your means. I love everything you said, Miss Michelle Smith. And let me tell you, Miss Michelle Smith, you are now the holder of this lottery ticket.
Hey,
Since you're the last one to participate. So we'll see if you can hang on to that, Miss Michelle Smith, for the rest of the session. But
Channing, sorry,
yes, Jess.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to acknowledge that somebody put in a question. So Michelle Blackman said that she would save it, give some away, and also invest. Just wanted to acknowledge that.
Yeah. So Miss Michelle Blackman, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Michelle Blackman. You just took the ticket from Miss Michelle. All right. So I'm sure everybody in here, though, has heard of the lottery curse, right? Does anybody know what the lottery curse? What in the world is this lottery curse? Does anyone know?
Well, I think I have an idea.
Miss Pamela.
Yes, in terms, because I know I've watched a episode on I believe it was Ayala Van Zandt, and I've heard of other curses whereby you get this money and poor decision making, not having the right people in your life, not having financial advisors, so on and so forth, to be able to provide you with correct guidance, you know? And so as a result, you pretty much, because your life is going to change. And so you pretty much continue to live the life like you used to, but however, you need, you know, certain people around you to be able to guide you and give you some financial that, you know, that has the wisdom to be able to provide you with the financial guidance that you need. Because if not, easy come, easy go. Next thing you know, you're back to zero again. If you don't have that proper guidance and individuals that are around you that are smarter than you.
For sure. And Miss Pamela, I had to look up the number. The number is actually 70%. 70% of lottery winners lose their winnings within the next few years. And that's according to the National Endowment of Financial Education, by the way. 70%, which I think is something. I bet you're saying, Miss Pamela, if you won this ticket, give me a shot. I wouldn't, I wouldn't spend it, right? But going back to your point, it is all about having the right information, the right people around you, providing you that advice, but really just empowering yourself.
True.
I'm sorry?
No, I said true. True.
True. Empowering yourself with the knowledge that you need to manage this money well. Well, thank you for sharing that, because you led me right into the next thing, which is the importance of financial literacy, right? You don't want to be one of these lottery cursed folks, right? And actually, it's not about how much money you make, right? It's about how you use that money and the smart decisions that you make to empower you to maintain that money, to invest it well, save it, etc. So that's why financial literacy is so important, because it empowers you to navigate complexities, to make informed choices, right? And to build a secure and prosperous future. That's why financial literacy is so important. If you think about financial literacy, you want to think about it as building blocks. Financial literacy really is about the foundation of your financial home. If you want to build your house on sinking sand, that's not going to work. You want to build your home on a very strong foundation, and financial literacy is that home in order for you to make those informed decisions and to gain knowledge and skills that will help you be successful, right? So that's what financial literacy does for us. Now, what it also does is it helps us with making wise decisions, savings, investing, avoiding debt, planning for retirement. You know, I think about the phrase, when you know better, you do better. And so financial literacy and getting a grasp of some of these tools will help you know better so you can do better, save and invest wisely and avoid debt and plan for retirement. The next thing that financial literacy does is it helps you take control of whatever it is your financial goals are. I don't know about you, but sometimes in the past, before I met Operation Hope, I would look at my checking account and I would say, where did my money go? It's the end of the month and I'm trying to figure out, I had more month than money in my account, right? So having financial tools like budgeting will help you take control of your money. So you're going to be telling your dollars where to go instead of your dollars saying, this is where I went, and you not having enough at the end of the month. Also, financial literacy is going to help prevent, well, it won't prevent struggles. It won't prevent struggles. We all have struggles, right? But it will help you manage those struggles. So if you have things like an emergency savings fund, when, say, all of a sudden your car broke down on the side of the road, if you have an emergency savings fund, you can reach for that savings fund, right? Otherwise, you have to reach for a credit card, right? And sometimes we have no other choice, right? Sometimes we have no other choice. But the reality is we want to be able to reach for that emergency savings fund because we've planned accordingly for those mishaps or unexpected events.
Channing, sorry to interrupt. Just want to give you a 4-minute time warning.
Thank you, Jess. I appreciate that. I'm talking too much. Let me do the last thing about why financial literacy is important. Yeah. We talked a little bit about what you would do with your lottery earnings, but I would love to hear someone tell me about what their rich life looked like. For instance, my rich life is in retirement. I want to be on a cruise ship and I just want to cruise the world and have a lovely time getting on and off that cruise ship and having enjoying those ports of call. Does anyone else have a rich life they'd like to share? I think we only have time for one more.
Hello?
Yes, Miss Lolita.
Yes. One of the things that if I ever became what you perceive as to be rich is that I always told a lot of my friends I would want to become more educated.
Mm,
And the reason I say that is exactly what you said, when you know better, you do better. And so I feel like if I wasn't someone who was born that way and knew the financial savvy ways to spend money, to earn money, to make your money work for you, that I would not know the behaviors I needed to conduct or how to do things the appropriate way. I also, if I don't have that, then that wouldn't have been something I had given my children. And
For
so
sure.
I needed that type of education to change
Right.
that mindset.
Absolutely.
So my
Miss
big thing was always education.
For sure. Miss Lolita, thank you for sharing that. In the interest of time, since we finished the financial literacy section, I'm just going to share with you give you an idea that this is one of the seminars, this is one of the workshops we offer. I also offer 5 other workshops. And so your clients can come to any of, or you can come to any of my workshops. This, of course, is setting financial goals. I have one on building strong credit. I have one on using your benefits and avoiding scams. I have one on budgeting and savings. And I even have one on student loans. So I really want to encourage you to share who we are at Operation Hope with your clients. Also, I want you to know where to find me. And I believe Jess has my contact information so that either you or yourself or a family member or your church would love to do these workshops. Fantastic. I'll come out and do it. But last, certainly not least, the most impactful part of my work is when I get to work with you one-on-one, because then we really customize what it is we do, and we do it directly for you and your clients based on whatever their financial goals are. So let me stop. Jess, thank you so much for having us. And I believe I went over time, but thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No, thank you so much for your presentation. I want to give you a question that just popped up.
Cool.
Somebody said, I feel that if consumer math was mandatory in schools from middle to high school, the passion for savings would be better. What are your thoughts on that?
Don't get me started with that. We can spend another hour on that. Okay. And we're getting there, right? We're starting to get financial literacy education in every high school. You know, certain states, I think 34 states at this point, have it as part of their curriculum. But yeah, if we had it, I think we'd all be in a better place for sure. I wish we did. But now that now you have me. You don't need to worry about high school. You have me. Okay? You have me. Miss Lolita, by the way, is getting the lottery ticket. So if I could have Miss Lolita, her information, I'll get it to her. Thanks, you all. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
I
you.
have a question for Ms. Jones.
Oh, yes, yes.
Good morning. Under your financial disaster recovery program, would you address theft identity and how to recover from that? I have a very close friend who experienced someone hacking into her corporate account 2 weeks ago. I think someone removed approximately $75,000 out of her corporate account and $24,000 out of her personal account. So would your financial disaster recovery program address issues like that?
Actually, with financial disaster recovery, think about Operation Hope being there with you in the event of a natural disaster. So something
Okay.
along the lines of Maui, right?
Okay,
We were
okay. All
actually
right, I got
on the
it.
ground in Maui. That said, I would love to talk with your friend. There are some other things that we can do that I'm thinking of on the top of my head that I think would be beneficial for her. So
Thank you so
connect
much.
us and we'll talk together. We'll talk offline.
Thank you so very much.
I'm sorry, who's that?
Pamela Robinson.
Miss Pamela Robinson now has the ticket. Sorry, Miss Lolita.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Pamela Robinson.
No
Okay.
problem.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. And Pamela, if you want to directly chat, I think since Channing is a co-host, you might be able to directly chat her your information to get the ticket, or you can chat it to Cassie or myself in a direct message or email us. There is also a poll that is currently going. If anybody's interested in Operation Hope workshops, just getting some information about that. Once again, Channing, thank you so much for being here and for the presentation. Amy, thank you for being here. Appreciate you folks. Their contact information is on the resource list, which is in the Dropbox. So you can get in contact with Channing from there. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, and we will transition over to our next presenters. So we have Chanel and Maria here from Salvation Army. Let me get you co-host permissions. All right.
Good morning, everyone. Can you guys hear me and see me okay?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having us. We're very excited to share some of our resources and just talk briefly about our programs. I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of some of the programs that we have. And then Chanel Tibbs is going to go deep into detail as far as time of the year, requirements, for the different programs and some of the things that we offer. So again, my name is Maria Avila, and I am the Program Services Director here at the National Capital Area Command for the Salvation Army. We currently have approximately 12 locations across the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, and we have a variety of programs that we have all across the district. And again, in DC and in Maryland. So we have here in DC, primarily, we have our mobile canteen that serves food to the homeless population. And our canteen goes out 365 days a year. We also have a program that covers emergency assistance in a variety of ways. It covers rental, utilities, burial, furniture, etc. In addition, we also have our Pathway of Hope, which is an extended case management program for families. It is intended to break the cycle of intergenerational poverty and help families achieve greater self-sufficiency. And this program was established around 2017, and it has been integrated into other programs such as Turning Point, and I'll talk briefly about that as well. And that program has been adopted by a couple of other locations across the DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and across the nation as well. And it normally averages anywhere from 15 to 20 families. In addition to our Pathway of Hope, we also have our transitional program, which is our Turning Point program, and that is for women and children. And like I said, it's a transitional housing program, and women from the ages of 18 to 24 with children, no more than 4 children, are able to come into our facility and have a unit, and they pay roughly about 30% for a program fee. And we house them in our building, and they're with us for about 2 years. We provide them with a variety of resources. We make sure that they have a plan so that when they do exit the program, they're able to have, sufficiency, that they're able to achieve their goals while they're in the program. And right now, we currently have an average of about 22 families or so. So if you do have anyone who is interested in joining any of our programs that we will discuss, feel free to reach out to Chanel and myself, and we would be happy to guide you in the process of reaching over and have access to our programs. And then seasonal programs are a big part of what we do here at the Salvation Army. Perhaps the biggest program that we have that it's a seasonal program is our Angel Tree program. And our Angel Tree program covers assistance, gift assistance for our low-income families all across. But we, here in the district, we just covered the kids all across the District of Columbia. And we also have this program at every other location as well. So then we come together, we go to the warehouse, and we pack gifts for our low-income families. And then we have a big distribution day, and that's when the families get to come and pick up their gifts. We start this program close to the end of the summer, so around August is when we're starting our registration, and then all throughout September, and then part of October is when we host our registration process. And then once November comes, we move over to the warehouse, and then that's when we start packing the gifts for a happy distribution day in December. In addition to Angel Tree, we also have our back to school program, which is like a camp version. And I'm sorry, our back to school is at the end of the summer, and we distribute backpacks. And so we come together, we distribute backpacks, and we make sure that, you know, the kids are well equipped to go to school. This year, we're actually looking at having our coat drive around the time that we do our back to school, so that the families also get a coat around that time. And then finally, our camp program, which is essentially a week-long program, and the kids are able to sign up through our programs, and they would, you know, once it's time for registration, the families would just come to us and register their kids. And this is just to give you an idea of all the variety of programs that we have. But again, if you have more questions, then feel free to let us know. And I will now turn it over to Chanel, who has a short presentation, and she's gonna just give you a little bit more details as far as requirements for each of the programs, and perhaps the time of year, because as I said, we do have some seasonal programs, and those are very strict with their dates. Any questions so far? I will take that as a no.
I was going to say, I don't see any in the chat or in the Q&A. Thank you.
Of course, it's my pleasure. I am going to have to jump off very shortly after our presentation, but I just wanted to say thank you for inviting us and allowing us this space to share our resources and services. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Chanel. I'm the Program Services Coordinator here at our SGB location, which is in Southeast Washington, D.C. I'm going to go over all of our programs, and I'm going to share my screen with you all so that we can do that. Okay, is everyone able to see this?
We see the slides here.
You see the slides?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So I'm going to start and just say that the Salvation Army, we like to think that we are a place that you can come when you need help. Our motto, our slogan is that we do the most good. I'm going to go over our agenda for today. Is the introduction, which Miss Maria Avilia, she's already done that. And then we're going to talk about who we help, how we help, and at the end, we can go over any questions that you may have, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Okay, so who we help? We help families and individuals in DC receive case management, education, and financial support here at the Salvation Army, the National Capital Area Command. Okay, and how we help? We help through our Emergency Food and Shelter Program, also known as EFSP. We help through our Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which is known as ERAP throughout the city. We are one of the providers of that program. We also help through our WAF program, which is a Utility Assistance Program, and it stands for the Washington Area Fuel Fund Program. We also have a Great Patrol Program. That is our canteen that goes out 365 days out of the year to feed the homeless in the downtown area. Seasonal assistance that we do offer at various times of the year. And also, last but never least, is our youth programs. How help when you need it the most. So I'm going to go over our EFSP program. Our EFSP program is citywide. Wards 1 through 4 is serviced at our Northwest location, and here at our SGB, which is located in Southeast, we service Ward 8 clients. The other 3 wards are serviced by the Catholic Charities. I apologize. No income requirement. There's 3 months of past due rent that we could assist with, 1 month of current rent or mortgage. The great thing about EFSP is that it allows us to be able to assist those that have mortgage delinquency. There's first month's rent that you can get through that program, and you're eligible for that once a year. It is per phase. We will currently be going into our phase 41 of the program, and it's also through FEMA. So that's the Federal Emergency Management Agency is the funder of that program. And so with the mortgage, it's only principal and interest only, not the late fees or anything like that. Application, you can do an application here. You can call to get an appointment, and we just going to need ID, proof of income, lease, ledger, W-9, rent, mortgage statement. And that will be that for that program. For our, moving on, I'm so sorry, I keep scrolling down, I apologize. For our EMAS program, which is our Emergency Assistance Program, that is our internal fund. So it's through Salvation Army. It's assistance of no more than $500. It may exceed up to $750. Depending on the circumstances. Approval must come from program services manager if that does go to $750. First month's rent and utilities, we can assist with gas, electric, and water. Also, it's unique because we can also assist with burial assistance. However, you must go to DHS first to do an application there. And with that application being processed there, then we can assist you with the burial assistance. It also allows us to be able to get an ID if need be, and a birth certificate for DC residents. Food and clothing and furniture, depending on the circumstances. There's no income requirement. You're eligible once per fiscal year, and the documents that are needed are listed there. For our ERAP program, which is through DHS, assist DC residents in back rent assistance up to 5 months, and also first month's rent and security deposit. You have to be 30 days or more behind in your rent to be eligible. And also, if you are a disabled person and provide documentation, it can assist with 7 months of past due back rent for individuals. It does not pay future rent. It is not like Stay DC when we had that during the pandemic. It only pays back rent. You must meet income and eligibility guidelines, and it's based on the fair market rate for the ward and zip code that the person may reside in. And so those are the documents there. We also would like for those persons to go through the hotline if they have any questions with their applications. And for the ERAP program, it is now done in quarterly. So it's the application process is done online, and it started in October. It has 3,500 applications per quarter. Once the 3,500 applicants are reached, then the portal shuts down and it won't be able to be allowed to apply until the second or the third quarter. We're approaching now the third quarter, which will begin April the 1st. And that's that for that program. And then we're going to move on to our WAF program. Our Washington Area Food Program is currently going on now. That program is typically through January 1st to May 31st, unless we have additional funds. And that program is, you must contact DC Energy first. That is one of the criteria, and to provide notification that you have apply for energy assistance first, and you have to meet income eligibility guidelines, and assistance up to $500, and eligible once per fiscal year. WAF season again begins in January and traditionally ends in May 31st. And the application process, all of the documents that you needed are there. And if you need any further questions about that, then you can definitely contact me. And I did speak on our Great Patrol program, which is our mobile feeding van that delivers dinner 365 nights out of the year. It's a really great program. We start off at Union Station, and we just go in like a circle area and end off of New York Avenue. So it's a total of 7 stops that we go out and we feed the homeless every night. And then the seasonal programs, the Salvation Army Angel Tree program, has been helping persons. We've been running this program for over 44 years to help families that are struggling financially to provide Christmas gifts for hundreds of thousands of children around the country each year. Once a child has been registered and accepted as an angel tree, their Christmas wish is shared. They're able to pick, the parent is able to pick 3 wish lists for the children, which is great. And then our donors are matched with the child, and start purchasing things and send it to our warehouse by either dropping it off or sending it through Amazon or United States Postal Service, or maybe UPS. Our youth programs offered our summer day camp, which is their stay away. We offer a summer day camp during the summer months, and it is 3 days out of the week, depending on the location. And the children just have fun with doing activities and field trips. We also have a sleepaway camp, which is at Camp Rappahannock, formerly known as Camp Happy Land. And the children go away for 1 whole week. We drop the kids off on a Monday morning. We meet up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then we pick the children up on Saturday. And they have a great time the whole week. They do various things from archery to swimming, bike riding, hiking, and that's in a really nice area in Virginia. And so we also have our backpack distribution. And again, Ms. Maria, she did state that we this year are looking at incorporating our coat drive at the backpack distribution, so that not only would you be able to get a backpack, but you would also be able to get a coat. And that is it. If you would like to contact us, we do have 2 different locations. We have our Harbor Street location. That's located at 1434 Harbor Street Northwest. Our hours of operations are from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And we are also located at Solomon G. Brown Corp., which we call SGB. And we're located here at 2300 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue in Southeast Washington, D.C. The hours of operation are from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. I just would like to say thank you. This is my contact information. If you have any questions or you need further information, please feel free to give us a call, email me, and I can also take any questions and answers that you may have now.
Thank you. I don't see any questions in the Q&A right now or the chat. That doesn't mean there aren't any. So if folks want to come off mute, put something in the chat or in the Q&A.
Good morning. So when it's regarding the angel tree, I noticed that I have to either call, is it like a list that that you guys have with just a distribution of the flyer when that time comes about, so that, you know, we don't have to kind of go looking around for a flyer?
So yeah, we do have on social media, we do have that Angel Tree. And you would just do it will be under the National Area Capital Command. But you can call our offices. If you give me your information,
Sure.
well, we could connect so that I
Sure.
can make sure that you get one.
Okay.
Yes, that passing out a flyer is not a problem.
Sure.
But in addition, like Chanel said, you would know that around the summer is when we start to announce like our Christmas in July, and that's primarily like for our donors to come and start adopting children. But also that's when we start to, you know, gather applications and stuff. So you're going to see announcements all over our website. And then if you need a particular link, whether you want to become a donor or you actually want to apply as a client, everything is on our website. And you would find that towards the end of the summer.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I was just asking because I work for Department of Human Services, and I'm working with the families closely. So I just want to make sure they get their little flyer, be able to apply, and I don't have to bother anyone about it.
Right, right. And so that again, that's always on our website. But we are happy to send you our flyer once it's created.
Sure.
But we also offer online registration and in-person registration.
Okay.
Yes.
No worries. Thank you so much. I think Marcia has her hand up.
Oh, hi,
Yes,
Marcia.
good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chanel.
Good morning.
Question: when is your fiscal year?
Our fiscal year begins in October.
October 1 through September 30?
For which program?
No, and your Salvation Army one, because you said fiscal year, you have to wait to apply to certain programs. So is your fiscal year the same as the government's, or you have a different fiscal year?
Our fiscal year typically begins in October, but it depends on the program that you're speaking of. Because if we're talking about utility assistance, it would be in that fiscal year. Like right now, we're operating under fiscal year 24, but it did not start until January. That's when the WAF program begins.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions? Thank you all so much for having us here today. Thank you,
I
Jessica.
just have one quick question. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to know the slide that says how we can help or help. I think, can you put that slide back up one more time? I was trying to get one of the contact information. I think that was on there. Okay. Are you able to distribute that slide out?
I can. I think so. Like, let me see something.
So Jessica, would you be sending out all the presentations at the end so that we can then share our PowerPoint with you to send to all the providers?
Yeah, we have everything in the Dropbox now. So if you want to send us over the slides, then we can just upload them and then let folks know that it's also in there.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
that
Thank
works
you.
well.
That
Thank
works
you.
good. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for our fantastic presenters from Salvation Army? Okay. Well, thank you both so much for being here, presenting that information. And like I said, we'll get those slides uploaded so folks have additional contact information, but your names and emails are in the current resource list that we have there. So thank you. And I will turn it over to our next presenter, Marcia Lee from United Planning Organization, UPO. So let me make you a co-host. Okay, just give you those permissions. So thank you for joining us here today, and I will turn it over to you.
Good morning, everybody. So can everybody see? Hold on, let me do share screen. Give me 1 second. Okay, thank you. Thank you all for coming. So my name is Marcia Lee. I am the data specialist here at United Planning Organization. And for those who know UPO, we are huge. So I'm just going to break it down for our division, for Workforce Institute Training Division. So it's split into two areas, training and placement. So I'm going to review that. And any questions you have, please feel free to speak to me after the chat. Thank you. All right, sorry about that. Let me flip this over. Oops. Nope. Sorry about that. All right, so thanks about that. So what trainings do we provide? My training programs prepare customers to earn national accredited certifications in high demand jobs. So the first training we have is broadband telecommunications. So this program provides training in residential and commercial electrical installation with a concentration in copper and fiber networking. Students seeking the knowledge and skills necessary to become entry-level professionals in the electrical industry with a minor concentration in network cabling will benefit from this program. And in the essence of time, I will be uploading this. I can share this presentation with everybody, so I don't have to read every single line. So you will get professional certifications. So the first one is telecommunications technologies, network cabling specialist, copper-based, network cabling specialist, fiber-based, home entertainment residential audio/video certificate, telephone systems and VoIP, and OSHA 10. The next one is building maintenance professional, 12-week training. Students will receive hands-on experience in common drywall repair, common painting requirements found in building maintenance, basic electrical troubleshooting and repair, plumbing troubleshooting and repair, effectively correcting finished carpentry issues and common building maintenance, basic lock skills and replacement process, basic wall and floor and tile installation and repair, basic weatherization processes, making a building more energy efficient, and other essential building maintenance skill functions. So the certifications are to this is a core curriculum, introduction to craft skills, and OSHA 10. And our training site is on 915 Girard Street. They actually have a classroom where students are actually doing the work hands-on. Plumbing technician, 12-week program. Students seeking a career path to plumbing apprenticeships or entry-level positions, providing on-the-job training, and the plumbing trade industry will benefit from this program. The program orientates the student to plumbing safety, identifying and using basic hand and power tools, using plumbing trade, plumbing math, and drawings, the different types of plastic pipe, valves, and fittings using plumbing applications, identifying and measuring copper pipe, carbon steel pipe, and cast iron pipe and fittings, and other plumbing fundamentals. So the certification that they will receive in this one is core curriculum, intro to craft skills in plumbing level 1, issued by NCCER and OSHA 10. Electrical technician, 12 weeks. This program will introduce students to principles of alternating current, including AC waveform, circuit, inductive reactance, frequency, voltage, transient, capacitive, reactance, and other fundamentals. This course provides the gateway to occupations such as electrician, electrical apprenticeships, and other electrical occupations such as electrical installer and or repair positions. So this certification is the same as the rest of them. They'll get the core curriculum, intro to craft skills, and electrical level 1, issued by NCCER. So the next one, culinary arts professional, 12 weeks. So this training is to support a food service provider's commitment to produce safe, wholesome food, and is designed as a training aid in preparation for the Serve Safe Food Protection Management Examination. So before anybody asks me, this is not a food manager's license. This is a comprehensive one. This is the food protection manager certification. So when they successfully complete the certification training, they could receive their service safe food protection manager's license. Okay, IT help desk and application support specialist, 18 weeks. So the CompTIA course includes an introduction to personal computers, internal hardware components, the fundamentals of storage and working with mobile devices and networking. There's also a strong focus on the installation, configuration, and management of Windows operating systems, using alternative operating systems, virtualization, and understanding system security. The student will learn to assemble components based on customer requirements, install, configure, and maintain devices, PCs, and softwares for end users, understand the basis of networking and security/forensics, properly and safely diagnose, resolve, and document common hardware and software issues, apply troubleshooting skills, provide appropriate customer support, and understand the basics of virtualization, desktop imaging, and deployment. So this certification, if students pass, they would get their A+ certification. Child Development Association, 120 instruction hours, 480 volunteer hours, and early UPO early Head Start. So the Child Development Associate credential is a widely recognized credential in early childhood education administered by the Council for Professional Development. It is based on a core set of competency standards which guide early care and learning professionals. The competency standards are the foundational content that supports candidates in becoming qualified teachers. Professional certification. So students who successfully complete this training will be eligible for the this industry recognized certification. CDA credential offered by the Professional Council of Recognition. So UPO has, we operate 14 early learning centers in the city. So once they get the classroom time, they will actually go into practicum in one of our early learning facilities. Emergency medical technician, EMT, 20 weeks. This program trains students to work in the pre-hospital emergency medical environment as an entry-level EMT provider. Upon completion of the training programs, students will be capable of performing the following functions: recognize the nature and seriousness of a patient's condition or extent of injury to assess requirements for emergency care, administer appropriate emergency care to stabilize the patient's condition, and lift, move, position, and otherwise handle the patient in a way which minimizes discomfort and further injury. So if they successfully complete this training, they receive their certification from the National Registry Emergency Medical Technician and commercial driver's license. That's 6-week program. So the program description. The goal of the commercial driver's license training program is to provide professional training for the Class B commercial driver's license. So the learning track is general knowledge / CDL learner's permit preparation, pre-trip inspection training, behind the wheels training, job readiness training, and professional license. So once they finish the training, they can take the exam, they successfully complete, they'll get their CDL Class B commercial driver's license. Job readiness program, 2 to 4 weeks. So this program focuses on the employee's perception of the candidate, first impression, application, resume, emails, phone calls, appearance, professional attire, personal strengths / weaknesses, and the candidate's assets liability to the company. So basically, I'm gonna wrap this up. Basically, the services include, they're gonna identify jobs for the students, for the students' training or the student skill set. They're going to do jobs that best fit their lifestyle. We will provide soft skill and life training, focusing on work ethic, reliability, punctuality, time management, conflict resolution. And they're going to help students identify and understand qualities employers require. So the program requirements. Because this is because our programs are administered through Community Service Block Grant, these are the requirements. These are hard requirements. Must be a DC resident, must be 18 years of age, must have high school diploma or GED, completing the serve and submit all enrollment documents that you see below, must pass CASA's English and mathematics assessment, must pass mandatory drug screening and background check. For CDL students, must pass a DOT physical examination. And for culinary arts, must take a TB test. So this is one of our posters, one of our students. He came out, he was a returning citizen. He finished our telecom program. He made up to $100,000 that year in his first year. So this is all our information. I thank you so much for allowing me to present to this fabulous audience. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask at this time.
Thank you. I don't see any questions in the Q&A or chat right now. So folks, if you want to put it in either of those things or come off mute.
I just want to know, will you be able to share that slide you just presented?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Are there any
you
age
wanna
requirements?
refer-
Is there age requirements for any of these programs?
Yeah, I just read it, 18 years and up.
Oh, okay, thanks.
That was there, yes.
Okay.
Guys, any other questions?
What's your contact information?
I will put it in the chat. You can reach out. That's not a problem.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And her contact information is also on the resource list in the Dropbox.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Was there another question? I think somebody started coming off mute.
Yep. Yeah. I'm sorry if you already mentioned this. If we want to refer clients to any of these programs, what's the best way to do that?
I'm sorry?
If we want to refer clients to any of these training programs, what's the best way to do that?
Well, at the last page of the slide, it gives you all the information. You can actually text us, and we have a queue. So I filter in all the inquiries. Depending on the program, I will filter that to the appropriate case manager, and the case manager reaches out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So once we get those slides, we will upload it to the Dropbox also. Any additional comments, questions, concerns right now?
Sounds like a great resource for our clients. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, Marcia, thank you so much for your time and your presentation. All right, folks, and then we will transition to the last portion of today's training, which is, hello, it's me again. So I'm going to give you some information about financial social work. So let me launch another poll for you. So I know some folks already responded to the earlier poll about information that they'd like to have about financial literacy and what would be helpful. Just sent out another poll, just getting a general sense of how you would rate your own financial literacy. So basically, understanding of personal finance. So I'll give you a second to respond to that as I'm pulling up this presentation. Okay, I'll leave the poll up for a few more seconds. And can folks see my screen? Actually, Cassidy, can you give me a thumbs up once I start rolling this to confirm you can get the sound?
Yes.
Outlook for millions of American families is
It's really quiet, Jesse.
income and wealth divide. They manage scarce millions of American families as bleak. They live on the bottom of the growing income and
Is that better?
Can you turn it up anymore?
wealth divide.
Better?
They manage scarce resources without access to affordable credit. They pay
Yeah.
for expensive financial services. And when they are in money trouble, they have few places to turn for financial support and guidance. This is not an accident. Discrimination and injustices, historically and today, block social and economic development of people of color, women, people with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups. People can sometimes improve their situations, but they cannot fix entrenched inequality by themselves. Social workers can help. Not only are we first responders when families are in trouble, we also run organizations and contribute to community building. We defend existing social protections and create more just social policies. Social workers can build financial capability and assets in vulnerable families. Financial capability is the interaction of ability to act with opportunity to act in ways that improve financial well-being. Social workers can increase ability to act by providing financial education and access to benefits and services. In direct practice, social workers can provide guidance on making optimal decisions and solving financial problems. Increasing opportunities to act is fundamental. Social workers mobilize for inclusive social policies, that is, systems change, to ensure that everyone has access to safe and affordable financial services and social policies. Policy reforms must include asset building for all. Building assets, that is what people own, is often thought of as only for the wealthy, but it is just as important for lower income families. Everyone needs savings and assets to invest in education, homes, land, the stock market, and businesses to reach long-term goals. Assets change the way people think about their lives. They can be thought of as hope in concrete form. Let's illustrate how this might play out in the lives of two teenage girls. Tamika and Abby are young people of color who are growing up in low-income and historically disadvantaged families. Both are good students, each has a part-time job, and both received an A in their high school financial education class, but their financial capability is very different. Take Abby. She lives in a state that automatically opens a child development account, or CDA, for all newborns. The state deposits $500 into each child's account at birth. The state also matches new savings 1-to-1, up to $600 a year. Community organizations helped build her CDA assets. Beginning in elementary school, Abby's teachers talked about the children's future education because all children had a CDA. School systems, including Abby's, have programs to help children and their families open savings accounts at nearby banks and credit unions. By the time Abby graduated from high school, she had several $1,000s in her CDA. She had a savings account in her name and knew how to read her CDA and bank statements. She and her family were optimistic about her future since they knew they could cover at least some of her future costs. Tamika's experience was very different. Her state does not offer a child development account. Nonetheless, she followed her teacher's advice to open a bank account. When she tried to open a checking account, she discovered that the minimum amount and required monthly balance were too high. Instead, she decided to open a less expensive savings account. During the school year, however, she cut back on work hours and didn't track her account carefully. The bank is 2 miles away, and she doesn't have internet access at home. She has access to an ATM 4 blocks away, but had to remember to deposit her paycheck when she got paid. By the time she checked her balance, the bank had charged fees for falling below the minimum daily balance. "I told you so," said her mother. "Those banks aren't going to look after you. It's better to cash your checks at the grocery store and keep your money at home." So Tamika saved her money in a jar. When her mother's car broke down, Tamika handed over a chunk of her savings. When she graduated from high school, she only had a few $100s saved. Although she planned to go to college, she and her mother know it's very expensive. They decided Tamika should work for a few years first. The difference in these two cases is stark. Tamika is left feeling that banks are not to be trusted. She has not lost all of her youthful optimism, but it is dampened, and her potential and feeling of self-efficacy is significantly curtailed. In contrast, Abby feels good about being able to contribute to her future education. She has gained some mastery over money management. She and her family even feel that her school and even her state care about her future. These cases are not real, but they are based on real situations. The policies and programs cited exist in some states because social workers created or helped to create them. Financial education courses are required in 17 states. As of 2019, CDAs exist in 6 statewide programs with pending legislation in 2 states. Numerous local CDA programs exist in communities across the nation. banks and credit unions across the country are developing special financial products and services for youth and adults. But there's far more to do. There are more important roles for social workers in working with young people like Tamika and Abby and their families, and in changing policies and services so they are inclusive and beneficial to all. To do this, social workers must learn financial basics, how to work with families on money matters, and how to mobilize communities and create inclusive policies, products, and services that support and nurture all families, including the most vulnerable.
First, I'm going to unmute myself. I'm going to pull up a few slides here.
Hello.
What did y'all think about that video? Any reactions at all? Yeah, Marcia?
You know what? I just think that it was unfortunate. Because you talk about people being unbanked, but it's so many other options. So I think the more information people had, the better off they'd be. And she could have made a more you know what I mean, a better decision, especially hooking up an operation, hoping other people who do financial literacy could have definitely got her in the right direction. And I think sometimes we miss the boat when the proper information is not, you know, given out to our customers. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It made me want to learn more. I actually started to look up how I can find more information to help the youth. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else have any comments, concerns?
For me, it hit home because I am a social worker and a lot of the information discussed is factual. But you also see a lot of stories like that, unfortunately, you know, and it's unfortunate because we do, as social workers, try to cover all areas and try to give as much information as needed. But sometimes some individuals still just get missed because it's more of them than us.
Absolutely. That's definitely a real problem. And it's even, you can have all the information in the world, but you still need the time and ability to give that information.
To distribute. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I think there was one other person that maybe popped off mute for a second. No? Okay. We'll keep it moving then. All right. So should be seeing slides that say financial social work. So as you are all aware, TCP provides lots of trainings that you probably have to go to every year. And one of the trainings that we have to provide is on financial literacy. And so when we were, preparing this, we have received feedback in the past about, okay, well, why am I going to a financial literacy class? You know, it seems like I'm just learning about my own finances, and what does this really have to do with my work? And so as we were digging into more of this, I came across the field of financial social work, which is something that I was not familiar with. And so can I get a show of hands, or has anybody else heard of this concept, or just integrating like financial literacy with the social work practices that you do? Okay, seems like we're all on the same page then. So I was like, what is this? What's going on? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it today. So going back, so we just talked about financial capability and asset building. So that is the video we watched was from can't remember Washington University, maybe. So Washington University, University of Maryland Social Work School, and in independent social worker. They have kind of all been creating more attention around the practice of financial social work or financial capability asset building, and integrating financial literacy into social work. And I took the next couple of slides from I think her last name is, I think it's Renita Wolfson. And she, I don't know if she coined the term financial social work, but she's done a lot of like research and work contributing to this field. And so this is the whole person financial model. And so essentially we're thinking about, okay, so as we are, I'm not a social worker, but as you are working with your client, thinking about what are the different things that we need to work on, that we need to create in their plan of how to get them back on track to be successful in this program, beyond this program, to set them up for success. So a lot of us have shared, like, I need more financial information myself to be successful. But as we're creating these plans, our clients also need that information as well. So there might be things that they need as far as job readiness training to start to put themselves in a better position to start creating the money so that they can do things like save, invest, or just meet their day-to-day expenses. There may be some behavioral things and like health issues that they are working through. But I don't know about any of you, but I know that I personally have had health issues that have been resulting from stress. And some of that can be related to money. That can be a huge stressor for people. So to ignore the involvement that any financial matters could have with the overall well-being of a person is really missing a critical part of that. And it doesn't necessarily mean sitting your client down and having them go to a finance 101 workshop, which that may be exactly what they need. That would be fantastic. And he had Channing, who I think is also still with us, the workshops that she talked about that your client could go to, that you could go to get some information. But it could be as simple as talking about, hey, like, if you have, if you're putting your money into a bank account and getting it direct deposited there, you may not have to worry about, losing your checks or having to pay additional fees on top of that to get back cashed. When I was working at a restaurant a couple years ago, one of my coworkers was using that job to build up her savings. And she said, you know what, I've got it all figured out. I am taking the checks that I get. We didn't have direct deposits. She's like, I'm taking the checks and I'm just putting them in a drawer. And we were like, the physical checks? And she's like, yep. We were like, those are usually only good for like 90, maybe 120 days. If you don't cash those, you actually have to get those reissued. And so, having basic financial information, being able to share that as things come up is really helpful for a client, or even if they're, I don't have to tell you about all the different ways that you have conversations with your clients, but knowing that as you build your own knowledge and can share that, that is helpful for your clients. And this slide also comes from the same place, from Renita Wolfson's financial wellness model. And I personally thought these graphics were a little bit confusing. I thought that was like a greater than sign, but after looking at it for a while, I have determined that it's an arrow. So this is talking about how the client's relationship with money and themselves, how this feeds into their financial behavior and their financial circumstances. So again, thinking about, like, if I have zero money, then that's not necessarily a direct relationship with money, right? So if could be, but is not necessarily the case. But assuming that we are getting some money to work with, If I have a difficult relationship with my money and, you know, I'm like, money is stressful, and this is totally not true for me. But if I'm like, oh, money is stressful, especially thinking about stuff like retirement, so I don't want to think about it. If I have that relationship where I'm like, money's stressful, I don't want to think about it, then I'm not actively looking at my retirement. And then that could create poor financial circumstances for me in the future. I know folks that have grown up with the like being taught like credit cards are bad. Credit cards are, you know, get yourself into credit card debt. You're gonna have lots of problems. So that was what my dad said to me growing up. And then my mom said to me, like, no, like credit helps you buy things. You need to start building your credit. So that was my personal experience of getting those two things, which I was very fortunate, kind of balanced out a little bit. But knowing that credit cards can be actually a way to start building credit once used responsibly. So those are my personal examples of kind of how that relationship with money feeds into the financial behavior. But when we are talking about financial social work, it is in part getting at what is the relationship with money, and how do we interact with that, and then work on financial circumstances and financial behaviors. So again, the caveat that, you know, we don't want to look at our clients who are homeless and say, do you have a bad relationship with money because you're homeless? Like that's an awful thing to say to somebody. But understanding that there are different things that can be built and worked on, and that, you know, as you work with your clients and as you establish that trust and support, that there might be a way to integrate some things that are helpful to your client that set them up for longer term success. So that I want to show you some additional resources to help move you forward in your learning and the discussion with your client. But any comments, questions, concerns right now? Or is that new information, or is this something that maybe you thought about but didn't necessarily discuss anymore or with your client? Have I lost anybody? Have you, you know, thought, you know, this doesn't sound right to me?
No, I think you're right. I like the idea about how your relationship with money is going to drive your behavior, you know, throughout life, and really addressing that and making sure that you're acting responsibly at every step of the way. So it's good.
Thank you. Yeah, and I echoing what Channing said earlier. When you know better, you do better. So having that understanding definitely helps. So
I just wanted to say really quickly, in my experience, growing up, it wasn't a major topic of discussion at dinner time or around the house. And I think it was probably was due to a lack of knowledge as well. So it was kind of hard. So I didn't really have the experience that you had versus the one parent saying, you know, don't do cards versus do them. The experience I had was I have never used them myself. I don't have a way of sharing that experience with you to enlighten you on that.
thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I think that's totally real. And I think something that my friends and I will joke about is how we like in the friends that we have, noticing that the friends that have more money actually talk about money and investing and how things are going. It's not like something that they talk about with people they don't know, but you know, as you get closer to them, you hear them talking about it more. But my friends that I grew up with that had a lower income and their families had lower income, that was also, it wasn't, the conversations about money weren't so much okay, here's what we're going to do to strategize to get more money. It was, how are we going to pay this bill? And so there was conversations about money, but they were not the same one. And that also is having money to invest as well, which plays into that. And also generational, of course, generational wealth, and also generational knowledge about what to do with money. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the resources I have to share with you. Okay, so you should be seeing this Excel document, which I'm sure you love. I personally am not the biggest fan of Excel, but this is what we've got going on here. So we have created a financial literacy resource list, and there's we're still developing and adding to this. But what this is, I will zoom in some here, is a list of resources that you can use to grow your own financial knowledge and literacy, and also how to share that with your clients. So it goes over the organization of where this information is coming from, the category, which I'll talk about, what kind of resource is it? Is it an article? Is it a game? Is it a video? The title of it, the description, some helpful notes, the link to it, and then this note here on the categories. So there are 4 different types of categories that we've listed out here. So financial literacy, so basic growing your own financial knowledge. So it could be you reading it, somebody else reading it, just increase financial knowledge. Financial social work. So these are resources that introduce or explain the field of financial social work, financial capability, asset building, or similarly named frameworks about financial social work. Resources for clients. So there are also in here handouts, sheets for your clients that they may find helpful. And some of these also have kind of a little one pager for you about like maybe how to discuss this with your client, which leads into the final category of how to teach financial literacy. So we are mindful that it's very unlikely that I think it was Decaria. I apologize if I mispronounced that, but I think it was you who said, like, you know, having just the bandwidth to discuss this with my clients can be difficult. But so we understand that you're likely not sitting down with your client and having a one-on-one financial literacy course workshop, but it might just be conversations that come up. So this type of resources is how do you bring that up in conversation, and what's an appropriate way to discuss that? Because I don't know about you, but if somebody said, hey, how's your bank account going? That might be a little uncomfortable for me. So how to talk about that. So going through these, we have resources in here from FDIC. There's some games to play there. I didn't think they were the most fun games, but if you like gamification, those are there. The Office of the Comptroller of Currency, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Washington University's Social Development School. So that's the video we watched. They also have some slideshows that you can look through. That's more your speed. University of Maryland, as I said, another leader in the development of financial social work. They have recordings of their presentations. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they have 2 series of videos. Both of these series are about an hour long, helping clients explore their personal financial rights and helping clients monitor and improve their credit reports and scores. So this talks about, these are like a really great place to start. And each video is anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes long. So if you don't have a lot of time, you can start there, and it explains a little bit of like so for the credit one, it tells you some information about credit and then how this might come up for your client and how to talk to them. There's just basic Q&A information, and there was a scholarly article as well about financial social work. So this Excel spreadsheet of all these resources, this is also in the Dropbox. You can visit that and kind of take what you need. If you looking at the results of folks who voted in the poll about their own financial literacy, the majority of people said that they were around a 7 on their own financial literacy. So if folks are feeling good about that, then, you know, maybe you know about credit, but you don't know too much about maybe how to explain how to open a bank account. So there's a Q&A section on this. You can take what you need and know where to get that. There are also the workshops that Operation Hope offers. And Channing, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to mention that I know everyone has so much on their plate in terms of what they're already doing. I just want to offer my services. I will come out to your facility. I will do on-site financial workshops similar to the one I did today. I have various subject matters like building credit and how to budget and save. And so, first of all, if you have a client that wants to go one-on-one, I'm happy to do that. But I'm also happy to come out and do financial service presentations for anyone that may be interested on site. Thank you.
Thank you, Channing. So that was the end of my portion of the presentation. Before we switch gears, are there any comments, questions, concerns on anything that I just presented? Okay, then we are at the fun sharing portion of our training today. So feel free to drop in the chat or come off mute, but are there any resources or things that you would want to share with the other people on this call that may be helpful to them?
I just wanted to thank everyone for all the resources that you all provided today. It was very informative, and I will definitely be able to help a lot of individuals within the agency. So I really appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Channing, I see your hand. Have your hand raised. Sorry.
Yes, I have one more comment to make. I don't think I mentioned this, but all of Operation Hope services are at no cost to participants, to anyone who needs or wants to be there. So I am here for you. When you think about financial literacy, all you have to do is thank me, and I am happy to come out and help you. Thank you.
I feel like you're like our financial fairy godmother. Thank you.
That's why I'm here. I sprinkle fairy dust all over the place all day long.
Amazing job to have. Comes with the glitter and the sparkles and good financial information.